How do you make money for nothing? The answer could be hiding in the 20 million tonnes of household waste we throw out every year.
Just before you throw it away, would it be possible to have a quick look at it?
That's why entrepreneur Sarah Moore wants to get her hands on things before they hit the skip.
I am a passionate buyer, user and renovator of second-hand stuff, and I've turned that passion into a money-making business. I turn old into new and I sell it for a profit.
Sarah's ready to sift through as many boots and bin bags as she needs to.
That's vintage gold, isn't it? It's really exciting.
In her search for tip treasure.
I love it.
And with some of the country's elite designers and makers,
what are we going to do with that?
Oh no!
She can transform her finds into desirable,
Amazing.
beautiful, valuable,
Cha-ching.
and hopefully saleable items.
That's £80 profit.
If Sarah is successful, then she can hand the profits back to the very people who had no idea there was cash to be made from their trash.
Oh, that's fantastic. That's unbelievable.
Stockport near Manchester, where at the Bredbury Recycling Centre around 2,000 cars a week roll up with all sorts of random junk for the skip.
I've got no idea what I'm going to find here today. It might be a chair in despair or a toy with no joy, but whatever it is, I hope I find something amazing and make some money for nothing.
Sarah's got special permission to root through the rubbish for stuff to re-beautify and sell on.
It's addictive, eyeing up people's rubbish. Think, oh, what can I do with that?
Sarah is scouring the site for the first of her 3 items, and today it's rich pickings.
How about you? Got anything exciting in there? Anything in your rubbish? I love it.
Sarah wastes no time snaring her first item. She's spotted mother and son Amanda and Connor getting rid of some smashed up old-time glamour.
So it's a cocktail cabinet. Have you had it for long?
Well, it used to be my uncle's.
Okay.
He's had it for about 30 years. He's
Okay.
had it. It used to be his mum's, funnily enough.
Is it something I could have a better look at and maybe
Yeah,
see if I might be able to take it away? Oh wow, I like the mirrors.
You're welcome to it. My mum will be over the moon.
Is it heavy? Do you think you could help me carry it?
Yeah, sure.
Top tip, when it comes to junk jumping,
Brilliant. Thank you so much.
enlist a strapping young lad to help with the heavy lifting. Nice and easy does it. This little beauty could soon be worth a bob or two.
Lovely.
Sarah thinks she can see a profit here, but what does Amanda think she'll do?
No, I haven't got a clue, but it'd be nice to see something good come off it.
I love this cocktail cabinet, but I think it needs a real makeover. There's lots of detail in it that needs replacing, and I want to rip out all of this old, tired-looking stuff. I want it to be funky, I want it to be fun, and I want it to be really expensive.
First item's nabbed. And Sarah has someone in mind to lift this cabinet's spirits and make some money for Amanda. She's scheduling a cabinet meeting, maybe over cocktails, with print designer Zoe Murphy. Margate-based designer Zoe has taken the reconditioned furniture scene by storm. Zoe's speciality is transforming fuddy-duddy old pieces with bright 50s-inspired designs. And her exciting reinventions sell in some of London's most prestigious stores, including Liberty's.
I have got a big issue with waste. I hate the idea of sort of inefficiency on the planet and things going to landfill. It's always bugged me loads, and to the point where I even wrote a letter to the Queen when I was 7 years old, telling her about the environment. And my love of recycling has brought me right round to using second-hand furniture pieces as well.
Sounds like Zoe's studio might be the last chance saloon for this old cocktail cabinet. Sarah is still sweeping through the car boots looking for her second item.
I love things like this when you can just see how much wear there's been. Look at that. That handle tells 100 stories. Look at the size of it, how much it's been worn down. I mean, that is literally careworn, isn't it?
Just a little too careworn, even for Sarah. Get a load of this though. It's Gary with a trunk full of trunk. Sarah needs to get her hands on it before it's in the skip and out of bounds.
Been doing a little tree surgery in the garden, have you?
Pretty much. We've been there a while, but it's time to get rid.
It looks like it might have been a birch.
Actually, Sarah, I think you'll find it's a white poplar. See those diamond patterns on the bark? Dead giveaway.
Any chance that I could take a few pieces? Yeah?
Help yourself.
Really? Oh, yeah, but I think that might be heavy. Is it really heavy?
My original plan was to do something with it, and then it dropped to maybe put it on the wood burner, and now it's just...
Get rid.
Get rid, it's in the way.
Well, maybe I should make a whole range of seating or stools or breadboards or something like that. I'm going to wheel a few away, okay? Thank you ever so much.
Sarah's on a roll now and full of ideas.
What do you reckon, 6, 7 big serving bowls? Something like that?
And what does Gary think Sarah might do with them?
A bowl or some seating, maybe it'd be interesting to see.
So, Sarah, you could have just landed a pile of rotten wood. Good luck with that.
I'm hoping that you've got 6 enormous, beautiful bowls here, but I can't really tell what condition the wood is in the centre because obviously it's been left out and it's in bad condition on the ends, but must have some potential, mustn't it?
Well, if there's money to be made, yes, it must. Sarah's second find is a rather sorry-looking lot, but she knows exactly who to turn to for help. Top-notch craftsfolk Max Bainbridge and Abigail Booth. Hidden away in an East London garden shed, creative couple Abigail and Max run a successful business, making handmade homeware from reclaimed natural materials. From beautiful wooden utensils to luxury soft furnishings, the fine arts graduates really know their craft.
We're so flooded with manufactured throwaway consumer items. It's like actually we decided we wanted to make things that lasted.
There's a kind of physicality to it which I love, from being out in woodlands and forests sourcing stuff or chainsawing it. There's a real physicality that you have to enjoy.
We love it.
Yeah.
But can they make anything out of Gary's sodden poplar stumps? Maybe they should carve a magic wand first. So that's 2 items in the bag. Now Sarah needs to find a third item to work on herself. After all, she shouldn't be hiding her own talents under a bushel.
You've got to love what comes in here. Somebody's just throwing away like a mini plastic car. It's just great.
You think that's mini? Take a look at Paul's little beauties.
Where are these from? These yours or are
Yeah,
these?
they're all dismantled and broken toys.
Pop it down the floor, they look heavy,
Yeah. I do know some of them were kind of collector's items, but they're pretty well shot, to be honest. My father died a couple of years ago, so we had to clear out from his house.
So did you actually play with these? Are these?
A long time ago.
Is this something that maybe I could take away and
Yeah.
just see if I can do something with?
Yeah, fine.
That's fab. I shall cherish those and look after them for you.
All right, no
Thanks
worries.
ever so much.
All right, no problem at all.
I absolutely love this stuff. I love it. The condition is really bad, but these are just iconic 1970s fabulous things.
Die-cast model cars became a huge craze in the 1950s and are massively collectible now. Rare cars in pristine condition can make hundreds of pounds. Though making a profit on this play-worn pile will mean that Sarah will have to step things up a gear.
It's like Diamante and the lights. Absolutely love it.
I've still got some of it at home, which is kind of sentimental, really. Batman, Thunderbirds, Joe 90 stuff.
What does Paul think Sarah might do with this bounty of bashed-up toys?
No idea whatsoever. No idea whatsoever.
You and me both, Paul. Sarah's a champion boot raider. She's got hold of 3 potential treasures for free. The glass cabinet will be reimagined by Zoe, the wood blocks carved up by Max and Abigail, And those old toy cars will be transformed into something special by Sarah.
I've loved the things I've saved today. The question is, can I actually make any money out of them?
Sarah's next stop is the glorious seaside town of Margate, which has been enjoying something of an artistic revival lately. Happily riding the crest of Margate's creative wave is print designer Zoe, who's helping turn the town all trendy. Little does she know what Sarah's got in store for her today.
I do trust Sarah's judgment. I like how in the past she's really let me do whatever I want though, so yeah, I do trust her just.
That smidgen of trust might be thrown out the window when Zoe claps eyes on that clapped-out cabinet.
I've brought you another little beauty.
Careful, you two.
Brilliant, thank you.
Oh, wow.
First impressions?
Yeah, I like it. Very, very feminine. Nice, solid print on the glass.
Zoe's making all the right noises, but Sarah knows this is a challenge.
I think it'd be difficult to see it selling and being a very commercial object unless it has a real makeover.
The one thing I do have a lot of lying around that I do like to show off sometimes if I can is my high-heeled shoes. And I can really see a cabinet like this being great if repurposed as a kind of shoe cabinet.
Because this is a narrow piece as well, it'll put it in a bedroom maybe, or a hallway if you wanted it there.
I can imagine probably some big bold prints coming in across here. It will instantly make it more fun. So if it's potentially going to be really glamorous shoes, maybe we've got a lot of glitter going on, maybe we've got some sparkle, perhaps some gold detail and bright attractive colours that are all about, you know, a glamorous occasion or a big fun night out.
A glittering, sparkly high heels cabinet. I'm totally sold. But how much will the work cost?
It will probably cost me a couple of days' work and all of the materials, about £500 to do it for you.
That just sounds fantastic, and you're right, it's those people who love their shoes that will love this, and that will make it sell.
A glamorous showcase cabinet for shoes. What a novel idea. But can Sarah find a well-heeled buyer for such a niche piece?
She is just so creative, and that idea is absolutely inspired. And the price tag that comes with it means I'm going to make some money, I hope.
I hope so too, Sarah. Zoe's charging £500 for her work, meaning Sarah must sell high in order to stomp up a profit. Vibrant Walthamstow in London's E17 is awash with artist studios and galleries. Honest. Hidden away in a quirky little garden shed, creative couple and business partners Max and Abigail specialise in making luxury handmade homeware.
I can cut it on the chainsaw.
Very unexpected.
Yeah, great. Okay, let's see what we can do.
Yeah.
The woodblock should be in good hands, though they haven't got a clue what Sarah's rolling up with.
Well, knowing Sarah, it could be anything. You could end up with some pallets.
What Sarah thinks is a feasible idea could be somewhat of a challenge.
Yeah.
Well, I don't know what can actually be made of these, but they've got plenty to work with, and they're really heavy. Hiya.
Hello.
How are you?
Hello. How are you?
Yeah, really well. I've got a lot of something for you.
Wow.
Do you want to come and see what I've
Have a look.
Yeah, come on down.
Wow.
Yeah.
They're great. They're fantastic. Yeah.
Yeah?
Absolutely.
Brilliant. Things I do in the name of recycling.
So, time to find out if money does grow on trees.
I've had a few ideas, like things that I think would be great for me to be able to sell. And one of them was sort of this lovely suite of bowls, but I'm all ears to hear what sort of stuff you can make out of this.
Absolutely. I mean, bowls is definitely something that we do if the wood's okay, if it's kind of sound and there's not too many splits, and if it's not rotten.
But how will you know which direction to go in?
The only way really we're going to be able to tell is to cut into it, so to kind of get the chainsaw on it and kind of
See what's inside.
Let's get to it.
If it turns out to be rotten inside, they won't be able to make anything.
Well done. So it's not rotten, but it does feel, God, that's really wet, isn't it?
It is wet, yeah.
Wet wood is not ideal, but at least this bit isn't rotten.
So given this state, it's difficult to imagine what you can actually make out of it. Have you got any examples or anything that...
Yeah, let's, shall we take it in the workshop, and I've got some stuff inside that you can have a look at. So these are a couple of maple bowls that are from recycled stuff from a timber yard, but all of these are from red oak and English oak from Epping Forest.
These are absolutely beautiful. The shape on that is really lovely.
I agree, but you're not out of the woods yet, Sarah.
Looking at how wet these are, the risk when turning bowls really is that the moisture may mean that they crack.
And we can certainly try.
We've got enough. We've got
we've got enough, Sarah.
Cracked bowls ain't gonna sell, so we need a plan B.
If we didn't get bowls out of it, what utensils do you make? Because I know you make amazing spoons things.
A lot of spoons, coffee scoops. So this is a wild cherry coffee scoop that we're working on. You can see that these have got kind of patterning. So again, it all depends on what it's like when you start to work.
So there's definitely potential here, maybe for bowls, or at the very least some utensils. But how much will their craftsmanship cost?
I think if you leave us with 250 quid and let us crack on,
we can see what we can
get. Can see what we can get.
On that basis, I will happily hand over 250 quid.
That's great. Really, really
lovely.
Good.
Excellent. Well, let me leave these with you. Brilliant. And you can get back to your chainsaw.
Thank you very much.
That's fantastic. Okay, bye.
Bye.
So Max and Abigail seem really optimistic that they can make something out of that wood. I'm just hoping I just haven't commissioned a £250 teaspoon when they find out it really is just rotten to the core.
Glass half empty, Sarah. It might not be rotten. Stay positive like these guys.
It's going to be a challenge, but I think that's that's part of the fun.
Max and Abigail are charging £250 for their time and expertise. Given the condition of the wood, carving out a profit on this lot will not be easy. The designers are firmly on board. Now Sarah needs to work on her third item, Paul's box of toy cars. In rural Sussex, two of her children, Libby and Edward, have come to lend a hand and play, while Bramble the dog snoozes. Then it's off to the barn for Sarah to shine a light on her ideas. Sarah has bought 5 simple slimline lamps from the high street, and she's going to stick the toy cars onto them and create novelty memorabilia lighting. Now, why didn't I think of that?
So I've got a plan. I want to keep it really simple and just stack a few of these up on the bases of these lights, then get stuck in.
OK, Sarah, penny on, lamps, cars and glue at the ready.
A kind of totem pole of vintage vehicles.
Time to get cracking.
It's going to take some doing. So I love Lady Penelope's car and I want to give it a little bit more space. I'm just popping these tyres on. And then I think this one. The Green Hornet, obviously. Aston Martin.
The most popular die-cast model car ever made was James Bond's silver Aston Martin. Alas, Sarah doesn't have one of them, but she's still hoping to make a pretty money penny.
This one's really cool, look at it. It's got a dog inside it.
I thought that one looked a bit rough.
Can I get the Saint on top in his Volvo? Oh, I think that looks fab.
Sarah has categorised the cars for maximum customer appeal.
It's a really cool rescue stack. Everything's got its little hazard lights, and there's a really sweet little snowplow there on the top. Can I get that on next? And maybe pop that one into there.
The cars are stacked, but need to be stuck. And for that, Sarah's using a special kind of traffic jam.
This is 2-pack glue and it's really useful. It dries in about 5 minutes, something like that. Got a little bit of working time and it's really thick and sticky, which is useful.
Yeah, I also find it very useful when glue is sticky.
So plenty of glue because there's lots of uneven surfaces on here and I just want to make sure there's enough contact between the car and the wheels and the glue.
Sarah will glue the car stacks together before attaching them to the lamp bases. That way there's less risk of messy glue marks all over the new lights.
I'm going to put a big blob of it on the roof of the Green Hornet's car.
And remember, glue can be dangerous, so use with caution or else. Right, what's next?
So I'm just checking it from all angles because I'd like it to be as neat as possible when it's done. Because even though they're really scratched and old and shabby, it needs to have a certain cleanness to it, a kind of designer styling. Oops.
Sarah spent £180 on materials for the lamps. But with the spotlight firmly on the profit margin, the finished products will really need to shine. In Margate, the buds of creativity are starting to blossom in Zoe's studio.
So I have this really interesting looking piece from Sarah. It's been broken on the side here and also the lock has been kind of locked open. When I talked to Sarah, I suggested somewhere to kind of put your glitzy, glamorous going out shoes and things like that, or your trainers.
Ah, I can see it now. My old trainers beautifully displayed for the world to smell. I mean, see. This cabinet needs serious TLC.
I'm not too intimidated by the challenge. I'm looking forward to it.
Some of the glass is broken, so Zoe's going to carefully remove it all to avoid further breakage, or worse still, the need for a plaster. Because the overall condition of the wood is poor with flaking varnish, Zoe has decided to send it off to be professionally polished. Meaning Zoe can take some time to nestle in her loft space where she does all her creative thinking.
It's always very important for me to sit down somewhere peaceful, surrounded by all my inspiration and a lot of reference books and colours and materials and art making supplies, and then have a really good think about what I'm trying to evoke with the piece of furniture.
And it's here that Zoe's artistic muse really takes flight, away from that glitzy idea and landing firmly in, wait for it, Mexico.
I've decided to do a floral sort of stitched looking design inspired by Mexico. After putting a couple more layers of detail into this one, this should be ready to go later on to be printed onto the piece of furniture.
The cabinet's back from the polishers with a new coat of colour, giving it a more sophisticated sheen, I think.
All of these different colours are each going to be printed one at a time on top of one another using the silk screens. When I first started planning the piece, I was thinking quite feminine, glitzy and glamorous, but I'm actually liking this kind of like Mexican meets English patio garden that's kind of happening.
First, Zoe creates a rough surface for the paint to bind to. Then, carefully layers up the patterns using the silk screen she has made, one colour at a time.
First one done.
The floral stitch patterns she's using are influenced by fabrics she saw for herself on a Margate, Mexico exchange. We've all been on one.
Yes, yes, that looks good.
Ah, that is lovely. Zoe's made a strong start with her Mexico to Margate floral design. But building up intricate patterns with silk screens takes precision and concentration. So, for now, we'll leave Zoe to it. So, it's all rosy in Margate. In Walthamstow, Max has got his chainsaw out again. Some of the logs are in better condition than others. Once sawn through, it's time for a confab.
If I spin that over, cut that into slabs to see what we can get, because we can small kind of chopping boards or some cooking spoons or eating spoons. Yeah, I think that's probably the best.
Max cuts the poplar with the grain to maximise its strength. After the trauma of being sliced and diced, Max and Abigail indulged the new-look wood with what can only be described as spa treatment, starting with a relaxing lounge in the sunshine.
We're just kind of laying it out in the sun just to kind of dry the surface off a little bit, so that when
make it more workable.
Yeah, so when we feed it through the planer, it's not kind of completely saturated.
With the little poplar pieces all dried out, it's time to make some shapes. Then the slabs are run through the bandsaw. Some of the wood's in too poor a state to use, so wastage on the good stuff isn't an option.
There's still more than enough in terms of depth for me to work with on this, and then it basically gives you a whole nother section of wood to get another couple of spoons from.
Max's wood carving techniques are rooted in tradition, and he spends many an hour happily whittling away. Whittle, whittle.
This is one of my favourite parts of the process. I mean, the colours are amazing. You wouldn't guess as you get in that you get the kind of greys and the greens running all the way through.
Like Michelangelo's David emerging from the marble, kitchen utensils are starting to take shape. But it hasn't been easy.
Even though Sarah brought us a lot of wood, it's actually been quite difficult to kind of process that down and get solid stuff out of it. But I think we've done quite well.
Max and Abigail now take time with the precious few utensils they have made and treat them to some gentle exfoliation.
When you're dealing with stuff that's all made by hand, there's not really a way of speeding that process up. It's kind of...
There aren't shortcuts, basically, are there?
No.
That's what you learn quite quickly.
It's great that stuff that they would otherwise just either have to take to the tip or would be burned, we can actually kind of take it off their hands and turn it into something that, you know, that then has another life other than just sort of landfill. Cool.
Finally, a loving wax and buff.
So it's a beeswax salve that we make ourselves, which is just pure beeswax and mineral oil. But it kind of brings out the grain of the wood much more once you've sanded. So you can see that the colour's completely changed.
The poplar pieces have had quite the makeover under Max and Abigail's care. They've lost weight, basked in the sun and enjoyed a thorough pampering. But I don't see any bowls. Back in Sussex, Sarah's in the barn putting the finishing touches to the vintage toy lamps.
And just use that last bit. There's Popeye. Just going to pop him on there. I think that's successful. So you can have a lot of fun using up your old toys to make some pretty lighting like this. I'm really pleased with the way these have turned out.
Before, these well-loved toy cars seemed way past their play-by date. Now, with a bit of imagination and some very sticky glue, they'll live another day as fun retro lighting. They're perfect for child-at-heart grown-ups who like to take a trip down nostalgia lane. At the dump, Paul's collection of cars had long run out of gas.
I do know some of them were kind of collector's items, but they're pretty well shot, to be honest.
Sarah created 5 bespoke lights with nostalgic charm. And they've all been sold to Rowdy Roddy Vintage Store Boutique and online shop in Glasgow. Now Sarah's back in Stockport to show Paul her car creations and hand over a profit, I hope.
Hiya!
How are you, all right?
Nice to see you again, Paul. How are you doing?
Yeah, not too bad, thanks.
Yeah. So it's been a while since we've seen you in the tip. How are things?
All right, yeah, good. Yeah, not too bad, thank you.
When I had a good look at the toys you dropped off, I just loved the fact that they were worn and they had, you know, like signs of age to them.
Yeah.
So I thought they had to be made into something that was decorative and where people could see them just the way they were.
Yeah.
Okay, so what I did with them is made them into lights.
Okay.
I've got a few pictures here.
Oh, wow.
Bought some retro looking lights, so they sort of had the right kind of feel.
Yeah.
And got some really strong glue and stacked them all up together.
Yeah, that's cool. I recognise, I recognise the old police band there.
We have actually sold them.
Oh, right, okay.
A collection of 5
Right.
has been sold all together to a shop.
Right.
And I've made some profit for you.
Oh, right, brilliant.
So I've got £145 here.
Oh, wow, brilliant.
To give to you for your old dinky toys and your old toys.
Wow, brilliant. Thank you very much. That's super. Brilliant. Super.
Excellent. Well, they were a lot of fun to work with. So thank you very much for letting me help them.
Right. Yeah, no, it's fine. Thank you.
Pleasure.
Brilliant.
Well, lovely. Thank you ever
Thank
so
you
much
very
for that.
much.
Okay,
Cheers.
take care.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Sarah spent £180 on lamps and glue for the 5 car lights, and they've been sold for £325, meaning a pretty profit for Paul of £145.
Didn't expect anything at all. You know, it's a bit of all junk to me. It was nice surprise, definitely. I think we'll go out for something to eat. We maybe, you know, take the family out for some tea and treat the little one or something. So yeah.
In Margate, Zoe's waiting for Sarah to collect the finished cabinet.
This piece that she's picking up today, I would be very happy not to let go. I can see my shoes being inside the cabinet instead of someone else's. So yeah, I'd like to hang on to it, but I don't think she's going to let me.
Before, this was a smashed up cocktail cabinet whose partying days were well and truly over. Now, the wood's been lovingly restored, the glass replaced, and that broken lock's been fixed and is sitting pretty. Zoe's imaginative designs have been lovingly and skillfully applied, giving the piece a refreshing burst of colour, inside and out. It's the perfect place to house shoes or precious knickknacks. It could even be the belle of the ball as a cocktail cabinet again. But what will Sarah think?
Hello.
Hello.
Hiya.
How are you doing?
I'm really well. Oh my word, how have you managed that? Oh, it looks beautiful, doesn't it? It looks really classy.
I really, really like this one.
I love it. It looks just crispy and stunning. It's really...
Is it what you were imagining?
No, I have to say, it is so much fresher and so much more stylish. It looks expensive and luscious.
Oh, I'm so glad you like it.
I think it's safe to say she does, Zoe.
I don't see this as just something for shoes. I think what you've done with it is just make it into something that has got huge appeal. You know, this could be whatever people want it to be.
I really love doing it and I really want to keep it.
Well, too bad. You can't. Zoe's ideas changed from a glittery shoe unit to a more, let's say, refined piece.
I think our initial budget, all in, we were hoping for 500 quid. Is that still the case?
Yes, we have just about made that.
Fantastic. Well, that, you know, it's great news all round. It looks absolutely beautiful.
At the tip, Amanda and Connor's bashed-up cocktail cabinet looked like it was suffering the mother of all hangovers.
Well, it used to be my uncle's.
Okay.
I've had it for about 30 years.
They were happy for Sarah to take it.
You're welcome to it. My mum will be over the moon.
Sarah carted it off to Zoe, who added glamour and Mexican flair, and it was snapped up by Janet from Margate's Lombard Gallery. She doesn't need to second-guess the appeal of Zoe's work because she sold it before.
This lovely floral design on the top, it's so big and bold and vibrant. I love it.
Now Sarah's back in Stockport to show Amanda and Connor what's been done.
Hiya. Hi, Amanda, it's Sarah. Hi there, how are you doing?
Okay.
I've got a few pictures to show you of your cabinet and what we did with it after you dropped it off.
Yeah.
We chose a designer called Zoe Murphy who lives down in Margate. So your cabinet went on a little holiday down to Margate, and I've got some pictures here to show you. That is what happened to your cabinet. Oh wow. Does it look like the same thing? She stripped everything back and then lacquered it all over to give it a really luxurious finish.
Yeah.
And then put these lovely flowers onto the top of it. What do you think?
Brilliant.
She had a budget of £500. We've actually sold your cabinet, and it sold for £600 in the end.
Wow.
So it was something that, you know, it was going to the tip, and it sold for £600. And the good news about that is that I've got £100 here to give to you for the cabinet. So thank you so much. I like that reaction.
Yeah.
Any ideas what you might spend that on?
I haven't got a clue at the moment. Probably pay for some of these things the kids are doing.
Oh really? Are they on
with
summer
all
holidays?
these
Are they?
camps and scouts? No, it never really goes down to me. It's always spending it on the kids.
I've got 2 children. I know exactly where you're coming from.
Inclusive of work and materials, as well as a specialist polisher, glazer and locksmith, Zoe charged a grand total of £500. The cabinet sold for £600, making a sweet profit of £100 for Amanda. Lovely.
It's like it's been given a new lease of life. Well, I'm not that artistic really, but it gives you a good idea of things that you can try and do, you know, with old bits of furniture.
We've got a profitable pair, but Sarah wants a full house. In Walthamstow, the woodworking wonder couple have, well, worked wonders. Before, these mouldy old logs were destined to become charcoal and ashes. Now, they're luxury handcrafted utensils. Max and Abigail delved deep into the wood to tease out 3 eating spoons, 2 chopping boards and 3 pairs of coffee scoops, cooking spoons and spatulas. They used centuries-old methods to create 11 completely unique items and ladled them with love. They're perfect for any cook who values the quality of their tools as much as their ingredients. Max and Abigail were lumbered with wet old logs, and it was a hard-fought battle.
There was a definite panic stage, wasn't there?
Yeah, it was kind of like, you know, at one point
Yeah.
it was just sort of actually, are we going to be able to get anything at all? Luckily, we were able to get some stuff then.
We've got quite considered, elegant designs, I think. I mean,
Yeah, I'm slightly nervous of what Sarah's going to say, just
Yeah.
because maybe she's,
well, I guess
you know, she dropped off
yeah.
6 massive logs. And I guess maybe there's an expectation that you're going to be able to get a vast amount of stuff.
We're excited to see what she says.
Yeah.
But will Sarah be stirred by what's been made?
Hiya!
Hello.
You're excited.
I'm really excited. Wow, was this
Oh, this is the carnage, yeah.
Oh my word! Wow! That's fantastic. Wow, that is made from that wood.
Pretty much for every kind of spoon that we made, we probably had 5 or 6 that didn't work. You know, you got to a certain point in the process and there'd be just a kind of patch of rot, or it would just snap or split.
So basically what you're saying is it was a total nightmare to work with.
Once we got stuff that we could work with, it was, you just kind of get back
Yeah.
into the sort of process which we really love. We talked about making bowls and that kind of thing, so we had a go.
Oh wow.
And it was, you know, the kind of, the actual, you know, again, the wood itself, it was just kind of, you got to a stage where you just kind of had to stop working.
So you can kind of see here how pitted it is.
I think that is beautiful. But I can understand why your integrity is admirable.
I think your soup would end up on your lap with that bowl. A real shame, but despite setbacks, Max and Abigail have worked a mini miracle with those utensils.
It's really difficult to imagine that this came out of the wood, and also to just how light it is.
It's quite a kind of lightweight wood and it's quite a delicate design, but they're more than kind of capable of standing up to
Being used.
Yeah, absolutely.
So, it's all good in the hood, but how did they get on with that £250 budget?
We used every penny of that £250 in terms of processing and just kind of like man hours and labour and stuff.
So do you think it's touch and go whether we actually make a profit?
I think it's probably going to be a little bit tight.
It is not always going to be that there is a huge profit in these things. That wood, I know, is really difficult to work with, and to have made anything out of that is actually usable and have this kind of finesse, I think is a real achievement. So thank you so much for taking on the challenge.
What she dropped off turned out to be quite a challenge. And
More so than we expected as well.
I'm pleased, and I'm glad that Sarah's pleased as well.
Yeah, I think she really likes them.
And
She secretly wants them.
Yeah.
At the dump, Gary's wood blocks were about to be chucked.
My original plan was to do something with it, and then it dropped to maybe put it on the wood burner, and now it's just...
Get rid.
Get rid, it's in the way.
Max and Abigail created luxury kitchenware. And it's all been bought by Ali and Nikki from online homeware store Such and Such, who specialise in selling handmade products.
Oh, we'd love to take all of them if we may, because
Yeah,
they're
yeah.
beautiful.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Well, we can box them up and we'll be ready to go.
Now there's a happy ending. Now Sarah's in Stockport to visit Gary and give him some good news, with any luck.
Hiya.
Are you all right?
Hi, Sarah.
Nice to meet you again.
Yeah, how are you doing?
Yeah, not bad.
Come on down, let me show you what we've done with your tree stumps.
Yeah.
There are a pair of amazing makers called Max and Abigail, and they are like modern day foragers and woodworkers. So they were a great fit for your logs. So I've got a couple of pictures to show you. Any ideas what we made out of them?
Not a clue.
They made beautiful handmade spoons, chopping boards, tasting spoons. What do you think?
Yeah, it's really good. It's, I didn't expect them to be anything like that. It's really impressive what they've done. I mean, I just thought they'd go for landfill or something like that. So to see them like that is really, really good. We
gave them a budget of £250 to do that.
Yeah.
And after that, they have been sold. And we sold your pieces for £300. So I've got 50 quid here for you.
Yeah. Well, thanks.
How does that feel?
Yeah, it's good. Good. Well, money for nothing.
Yep. Bang on, that's exactly what it is.
Max and Abigail charged £250 in total, and the 11 utensils were sold for £300, meaning Gary is now 50 quid richer.
With the money, I'll probably get something for the garden. Just there's always something I can add to it. We spend a lot of time out here, so that's probably what we'll do.
Sarah saved 3 items singing their swan song at the dump. The played-out toy cars became quirky novelty lighting. The sodden wooden blocks became luxury kitchen tools for discerning cooks. And the lacklustre cocktail cabinet got more than just its glamour back. It became a hot little Mexican number. Fantastico!
Well, that really was an eclectic mix of stuff that we saved. But in the end, all 3 bits looked amazing and turned a profit. And it just goes to show, with a little bit of imagination, you really can make money from all sorts of rubbish.